Hello and welcome back to a new episode of SwiftUI Elements. Today we will talk about the navigation stack. So we continue where we left off at the tab view video, and last thing we did was adding the navigation stack, and now you get the explanation how it works. So navigation stacks. It's an older version of the navigation stack is the navigation view. So basically when you want to push a view on top of each other, so you get a slide in animation. So at first you can see anything about the navigation stack. It's basically a wrapper around it. So to actually see it in the view, we need to add a navigation title to a specific view. So the navigation stack knows what to render as a title. And therefore we add a navigation title to a view. We can also add it inside this view. And as you can see, it directly renders the title. So we could say here, it's a text and it's called view 1. So when I switch to view number 2, there isn't a navigation stack, so we don't have a title here. So back to view 1, navigation title. So now how we can navigate to another view. We have several possibilities here. First, we can define navigation destinations. So it's navigation destination, and we have different possibilities here. We can say we can decide which destination should be shown for a specific data type, or we could say for a specific item, the item is then a binding, or just with a boolean, a binding of a boolean, so just show it. Let's start with the is presented. So to show that we need another binding, so we say state private var show view 2. It's a bool, and we start with false. Then we can add it with the $sign. Show view 2. And the destination, so the destination is the view which should be presented then, it's view 2. And again, you can see anything here because we don't activate the view. So for that, we need some action of the user. Normally it is a button. So we can say we add a button here. Let's do it. We just removed the text and we add a button. The action we leave empty for now. And we say the label is text go to view 2. And you can see normally a button gets a tint color and the standard color is blue. So yeah, it's not the best contrast here, but I think for the example it works. And now we in the action we need to change that boolean we had the view before. And how can we do that? So we saw when I just open it here, it's a binding of bool. So we need a binding. What we can do, we can give the binding to the next view, so we can change it. For that, we need to adjust the view a little bit, and we say we have a binding here. Show view 2. It's a bool, and now we can say, yeah, now the preview wants also the show view 2 variable. It's a binding, and for the preview we can say, okay, we use a constant value of false, and in the button action we want to change this value. So show view 2 is now true when the button is tapped, or we could say we toggle it because a bool, false becomes true, true becomes false. So we just do it with the toggle. And now when we switch back to our main view, we have an error here because we don't put in the binding, and it's $show view 2. So now the compiler is happy. We see updated the second view. And when I tap on this button, I see we switch to view 2. It gets pushed on the navigation stack. And in the navigation bar at the top, we get a back button, which has the name of the previous view. So in this case, view 1. This is one way how we can switch views with a navigation stack. Another way to call a destination is with the NavigationDestination for a destination. So here you can see a hashable protocol. So everything which implements the hashable protocol can be used here. And just for example purpose, we say we get an integer value, so integer self, because we need the type of the destination. And then we get here the value itself. And now we can do something with it. We can, for example, switch over the value, or we can say if value equals 1, do something. For now, we don't care which value comes in. So we say it doesn't matter what comes in. When this one is called, we want to present view number 3. And we use that one with the new navigation path. So we adjust a little bit view number 1. So I will remove the binding here and will add a new binding to our navigation path. And what we then, let's just the preview so the compiler is happy. NavPath constant init. So we need an empty one here, and in the button action we say NavPath. And as I said, it's like an array, so we can append values. We just append 1. Or because we go to 3, let's do 3. That's it, what we have to adjust here. Now we need another initializer for the view. We need to add the NavPath, and it's a binding with the NavPath. Now the compiler should be happy. Let's see. Rebuild it, start the preview again. So same view as before. Now what happens when I push the button? We add number 3, an integer value, to the NavPath. And the expected behavior is that we switch to view number 3. Let's see, view number 3 is a green one. So let's see what happens when I tap on it. And as you can see, the integer value gets pushed on the navigation stack, and then we navigate there. Yeah, we can also remove something from the navigation stack. So when we want to navigate programmatically back, we can say, okay, remove the last integer value from the navigation stack, and then the view gets also dismissed. So to do that, we adjust view number 3. Same thing here. We need our binding to the navigation state, because navigation path, sorry, because we want to adjust it. And also here, NavPath constant, an empty one just in it. And now we also need here a button with label. Let's say dismiss this view. And what we do is NavPath remove last. So we remove the last element from the path. So we are going back here, and same issue as before. Number 3, we need a NavPath. And we use a binding because we want to adjust this one. So we just give a reference into it, binding into it, and then the view modifies the real value we have here. So let's test it again. Go to view 2, and then, okay, the text is a little bit wrong. It's number 3, we dismiss it, and we go back. So that's what happened in number 3. We remove the last element. The third option for the navigation destination is the option with a binding, and it's an optional hashable. So let's see how we can do that. So we create another state for that example, private var, I call it item, and now it has to be an optional binding. So just for demonstration, I would use an integer, an optional integer, and don't assign any value, then it's nil. And here I add the item, and here I could get the value if I want to run different logic or show different views depending on the value. So then I could say if value equals 1, for example, I could show view number 4. Else I show view number 3. And also add here the navigation path. So when we run this, we don't see any change. To get this working, we need to set that item. Let's do that in view 2 because we don't do it at the moment. And what we need here is again a binding. It was an, I call it here also item. It's an optional int. And then we say we have a button here with a label, and we add switch view, and we say when we tap on it, we assign the number 1. Again, the preview wants that item, and we initialize it with nil, or because we need a binding, we do a constant nil. Then that should be fine. And here we need to add the item, and that's $item. And we also use the view here, so also here the item. And now the compiler should be happy. And we are in our example, and we added it to view number 2. So we go to view number 2, maybe view number 2, navigation path. So at the moment we add 3, and we get into this destination that we want to change. So I just remove this one. And here, so let's run it again. Go to number view. That's wrong because when we don't have the navigation destination anymore. And show view should be true to get this destination. So we need the other way for the first one, so not the navigation path. So we add the show destination. It's a bool. We say here show view 2. It's and that's the show view 2. And now we have to adjust the view a little bit and activate that again, and that remove that one. And here we need the constant of false. And now the navigation path isn't here anymore, so we need to show view, and we say this one is true. So now it should work. Compile it. I left something. Yeah, that's of course show view 2. Now the compiler should be happy. Yeah, and return to the first view and restart it. So now we go to view 2. Now the color is a little bit false, so let's change it to purple so we can see the actual text. And do it again. Go to view 2, the purple one, and now switch view. And we assign value number 1, so we expect to get the view number 4, and exactly it is. So we go back, and now we switch it to another value, which is not number 1. So view number 2, we can say here I add 0, for example. Now we should switch to view number 3. So again, switch view. Now we activate this logic here. And it's the green one, not the purple one. So we transition to view number 3. And that's basically the usage of a navigation stack. You can do it programmatically, you can do it directly by changing the values in your UI. And yeah, that's all for today. Bye bye.